Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to tell you is a red alert unlike anything we faced in decades. While volcanoes are erupting in Alaska, Hawaii, and even Italy, while quake swarms are rattling Russia, Taiwan, and even right here in the United States, experts are warning that we could be staring down a 1,000-foot tsunami that could wipe out entire coastlines off the map. Picture that, 1,000-foot wall of water. But here's the kicker, guys. This isn't just about Mother Nature shaking the earth. These eruptions, they're quakes, and they're exposing something far more dangerous. America's single biggest national security risk, the Arab oil embargo of the 1970s. And unlike then, this time it's not oil, it's the chips, it's the semiconductors, it's the lifeblood of our economy and our military. Today, whenever you happen to be watching this, guys, we're going to connect the dots between the ring of fire heating up and the shocking reality that 99% of advanced chips are made on one island across the Pacific, Taiwan. Now, if an earthquake, an eruption, or a war cuts that supply, America won't just be inconvenienced. America will be paralyzed. Now, President Trump sees this. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is calling it out, and they're moving to de-risk America before it's too late. But the question is, are we already living on borrowed time right now? Let me know what you think, guys, because I'm going to go ahead and break this down step by step. First, we need to talk about the terrifying footage out of Hawaii and Alaska where lava is literally shooting 1,000 feet into the sky. Then the experts are warning of these mega quakes and tsunamis that could strike without warning. And finally, of course, we need to talk about the economic time bomb that's sitting right beneath our feet. And folks, I'm going to challenge you directly. Is America prepared for the collision of nature and national security, or are we about to relive the nightmare of the oil embargo, only worse? Well, if you appreciate the news updates, please take a second, hit the like button for the video and subscribe. All right, guys, right now, under President Donald J. Trump, America is staring at a collision of crises. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. This may be the biggest national security risk since the oil embargo of the 1970s. Now, on the one side, the earth itself, it's breaking apart. Volcanoes erupting, earthquakes rattling coastlines, tsunami warnings flashing across the globe. But on the other side, our economy is built on a single fragile pillar, a supply chain that could collapse overnight if disaster strikes in the wrong place. And if you think that those two are completely separate stories, think again, guys, because today I want to show you guys how volcanoes and these quake swarms are exposing just how fragile America's future really is. And when you see the parallels to the oil embargo that crippled this country 50 years ago, you're going to understand exactly why President Trump's team is moving urgently, faster and harder than any administration in modern history. But first, we need to look at what the planet is doing right now. Volcanoes are firing off across the world. In Alaska, the Shasheldin volcano has gone from a calm advisory to a yellow alert. Gas plumes, earthquakes, unrest. These are all signs that a full eruption may be on the horizon. In Hawaii, Kaleo is blasting lava over 1,000 feet into the sky. Scientists collecting samples just days ago, they said that this is one of the most violent episodes in years. In Italy, Mount Etna is erupting once again. And in Russia, last month's 8.8 megaquake in Kamchatka, one of the strongest earthquakes in recorded history, set off volcano and volcanic eruptions across the region. And so add this up, guys. Alaska, Hawaii, Italy, Russia, Taiwan, New Hampshire, Maine, South Carolina, California, earthquakes and eruptions stacking up almost daily. It's almost like the ring of fire is waking up all at once. So here's the question that nobody wants to ask. Is nature moving faster than we can all possibly prepare for? Because when you see volcanoes shooting lava into the sky and earthquakes rattling coastlines every single day, it's not just about shaking buildings or spewing ash. It's about whether we're living on borrowed time before a mega disaster changes life in America forever. And so this kind of brings me to the most chilling warning of all, something that the scientists are saying could dwarf everything that we've seen so far. So let's just do a quick logic test together, okay? If you could save hundreds of dollars a year, keep your doctors, and gain extra benefits without paying a dime for advice, Would that make sense? Of course it would. This is exactly why I partnered with Chapter. They don't sell you anything. They guide you, they educate you, and then they let you decide. People like Leslie Taylor, they didn't even realize that they were overspending until Chapter reviewed their plan. Leslie ended up saving $1,000. That's amazing, right? Others walked away with dental, vision, or drug coverage that they didn't even know existed. So here's my final question. Does it make sense to at least check when everybody else is, right? Most people are already calling the number on the bottom of your screen right now. The only people it doesn't make sense for are the ones who wait. Phone numbers down below, 909-563-8279, or you can visit them on the web at askchapter.org/Ron. Scientists are warning that what comes after these quakes and eruptions could make the last few weeks look like nothing. Now, the real fear now, it's a mega tsunami. I'm not talking 10 feet, not 50 feet. A wall of water as tall as a skyscraper, 1,000 feet high, ripping across the Pacific and swallowing everything in its path. Now, just imagine waking up in Seattle, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and within hours, your entire city is underwater. Hawaii, gone. Even our East Coast could feel the ripple effects of a wave like that. And so, why are they warning this now? Because tectonic plates aren't just shifting, they're lurching. In Alaska, scientists are saying that the land could literally drop by 6 feet in an instant. That sudden drop displaces an unthinkable amount of volume of ocean. And when the ocean has nowhere to go, it roars forward. Now, history backs this up, okay? The Cascadia subduction zone has delivered monster quakes and tsunamis every 500 years or so. The last one hit in 1700. That's 325 years ago. If you do the math, we're not just due. In fact, we're overdue. And so now ask yourself this. Could America wake up tomorrow to a catastrophe that's bigger than Katrina, bigger than 9/11, bigger than COVID all rolled into one? Because ladies and gentlemen, that's the scale that experts are warning about right now. But here's a twist that ties it all together. While nature's threatening to wipe out coastlines, another disaster is waiting quietly across the Pacific. And this time, it's not lava or waves, it's silicon. Now, I'm talking about semiconductors, chips, the beating heart of everything that we depend on. And here's a terrifying fact. 99% of the world's most advanced chips, they're made on one single island, Taiwan. You want to talk about a single point of failure, a significant vulnerability? Let that sink in, guys. One earthquake, one eruption, one war, and America doesn't just lose iPhones or laptops. We lose the chips that power our F-35s, our F-16 fighter jets, our missile defense systems, our hospitals, our banks, even the power grid itself. Without chips, modern life stops. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent isn't sugarcoating it. He said flat out, this is the biggest national security risk that we faced since the Arab oil embargo. Back then, we weren't choked out by oil shortages, okay? We were decimated by oil shortages, okay? I don't want to put this lightly at all. Gas lines were stretched for miles. Now, anyone who was driving during that time would know. Comment down below if you experienced that, where the gas lines were stretching for miles, inflation spiked, the economy buckled. Well, I want to warn you guys that today it's worse. Oil made cars run, but chips makes everything run. I mean, really, every modern car relies on chips today. That wasn't the case back in the 1970s. So it's even worse than that. You cannot live without driving for a while. But, well, technically you can. You can technically live without driving for a while, but without chips, planes don't fly, banks don't process payments, you can't buy food at the grocery stores not without cash, not without gold or silver, right? You know, you can't pay with a credit card when the chips are down. Hospitals can't operate. The military can't fight. America would be paralyzed in days. And so here's where it gets chilling. What if nature and geopolitics collide at the exact same time? What if a mega quake in Taiwan, the exact same region that's already shaking, knocks chip factories offline, just as tension with China flares up? That's not just a supply problem at that point. This is a national security nightmare. But here's a question that we all have to face. What happens if Taiwan goes dark tomorrow? Do we have a plan here in America? Are we gambling America's future on the hope that disaster, natural or man-made, never comes? Well, I want to show you guys how President Trump is responding. He's creating assets for the American people, not debt, and why Trump's approach maybe the only thing that's standing between us and collapse. And so now, here's where the story takes a sharp turn. Because while the ground shakes and scientists sound alarms, President Trump, he's not sitting on the sidelines. He's rewriting the rule book. Now, think back to the COVID years under Biden. What happened? Billions shoveled out in bailouts, airlines were rescued, corporations were padded, politicians bragged. But what did the taxpayer get? Oh, we got nothing but debt. Trillions added to the ledger. Nothing to show for it. Trump is doing the exact opposite. He's creating assets, not debt. Just weeks ago, he walked into Intel and made them do what no politician in modern history has dared. Hand over 10% of the company to the American taxpayer. Overnight, $11 billion in value was created for you, for me, for every American citizen. That's ownership. That's leverage. That's power. And so he's not apologizing for it. Trump has said it himself. If the opportunity comes again, he'll do it again. Why? Because America shouldn't just pay the bill. America should reap the upside. That's what decisive leadership looks like. Now, ask yourself, should we be gambling our survival on Wall Street's version of free market roulette, where corporations profit and taxpayers get left with the bill? Or should we have a president who says, if the American taxpayer foots the risk, the American taxpayer deserves the reward? And it doesn't stop with chips. Trump's team is identifying other industries that have been neglected for decades, industries that determine whether America can survive a crisis. Take shipbuilding, for example. So for 30, 40 years, Washington let this backbone industry rust. Meanwhile, China built fleets, we outsourced and downsized. But when war comes, when disaster strikes, when supply chains break, who builds the ships to carry goods, fuel, troops? Trump knows we can't count on anyone else. So this is where, oh man, we can't even forget about the pharmaceuticals, guys. 80 to 90% of the raw chemicals that we need for medicine, they're made overseas. That means if another pandemic hits, if another embargo is thrown, America is at the mercy of foreign governments. We saw it during COVID. Countries hoarded their supplies. They kept the medicine for themselves. And what happened to us? Empty shelves, skyrocketing prices, lives were lost. That cannot happen again. And then, of course, the defense industry, right? I mean, let's call it like it is. Too many defense contractors have been lining their pockets instead of strengthening America. Look at Boeing. Once the pride of U.S. innovation, instead of investing in new planes, they blew billions on stock buybacks. Their CEO, he walked out with a $250 million golden parachute after failing. Meanwhile, the company was crippled, production delayed, and our military readiness was dragged down. It's not just bad business, guys. That was straight up betrayal. So here's the situation you got to wrestle with. Do we let corporations continue putting shareholders and failed executives first while America's security crumbles? Or do we demand a mission-first approach, one that prioritizes the survival of the nation above quarterly profits? Because Trump is making it clear. This administration is to de-risk America before 2029. That's the mission. If we fail to do that and we fail as a nation, period, right? So I want to show you guys exactly why Scott Bessent compares this moment to the oil embargo of the 1970s and why chips could trigger an even bigger collapse than oil ever did. You're not going to want to miss this. So I want to talk about the oil embargo. Back in the 1970s, OPEC cut off American oil supply. Gas lines stretched for miles. Inflation ripped through the economy and the country was brought to its knees. That crisis reshaped everything from foreign policy to how Americans live day to day. And now, listen to what Scott Bessent is saying. Our dependence on foreign chips today is just as dangerous, maybe worse. Now think about it, right? In the 70s, you could at least bike to work, cut back on driving, adjust your life a little bit, right? But today, chips are everything. Phones, cars, banks, hospitals, jet fighters, missiles, even the grid, even the power grid. Without them, modern life shuts down, period. So ask yourself, are we setting ourselves up for a collapse bigger than the oil embargo? Because if Taiwan is knocked offline by an earthquake, a volcano, or a war, that's not just gas prices that we'll be talking about at that point. It'll be a total economic meltdown. So here's where the tension really spikes here, because while the ring of fire is heating up, volcanoes are exploding, quake swarms are rattling the globe, experts warning of 1,000-foot tsunamis, our supply chains are stretched thinner than ever before. This is nature versus preparedness, folks. Mother Earth doesn't wait for your 5-year plan. She doesn't. It doesn't care about politics. It moves on its own timeline. And if America's not ready, nature will win. So this is why President Trump's mission is so clear. If we de-risk the US economy before 2029, well, great, we'll be in good shape. If we don't, then we'll fail. And we're not talking about small tweaks here. He's talking about rebuilding industries, reshoring production, and forcing corporations to put national security ahead of shareholders. But the big question is, are we moving fast enough, or are we ignoring the warning signs until it's too late? Because right now, it definitely feels like we're living on borrowed time. And so here we are, guys. We're standing at the crossroads of two major massive storms. On the one side, the earth itself is shaking. Volcanoes are blasting lava 1,000 feet in the air. Shakes are coming from the quakes that are rattling the coastlines all the way from Alaska to Taiwan. Scientists are warning of a mega tsunami that could drown entire cities. But on the other side, America's economic lifeblood, semiconductors, shipbuilding, pharmaceuticals, even defense, has been neglected for decades, left vulnerable, left in the hands of foreign suppliers who could cut us off in an instant. This is the ultimate collision of nature versus preparedness. And the question that we have to face right now is very simple. Are we ready? Are we prepared? Well, President Trump, he's taking some bold steps. He's forcing Intel to hand the American taxpayer $11 billion in assets, rebuilding critical industries, and warning that if his administration doesn't de-risk the economy before 2029, then America fails. That's decisive leadership. But leadership only works if the people see the danger too. And so right now, the warning signs are flashing everywhere. So I want to hear from you folks. Do you believe America is prepared for what's coming? Yes or no? Drop it in the comments down below right now, because if we can't agree on the problem, then we'll never agree on the solution. Now, this channel will keep you updated daily on both fronts: the natural disasters shaking the planet, the national security risks that could cripple us if we don't act. So like, subscribe, and share this video so that more Americans can understand what's really at stake here. Oh, and do not click away just yet. YouTube thinks you're going to love the video that just popped up on your screen right now, and they're usually right. So check it out, and I'll see you over there. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below.